Shalom, 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 lakam, peace unto you all. Anak nawaha bar yashala, we the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, to preach to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners. Nachamatam, Kaya, Hamalak, Wathashamayim, Korah, repent ye for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. First and foremost, before we get started, I'm going to say, Call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught his truth and rule well, and much respect to you bros out there pushing his truth with all righteousness and sincere shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
So essentially, I'm going to flow in the spirit. I'm going to start with this article, pretty much going into inflation, which I'm going to start with a quick precept. This is, brothers know where that precept is. It says, they shall think themselves to be in good case.
It's in Second Esdras.
Or it talks about pretty much going to the inflation, Second Esdras.
I got you.
Okay, it's water.
Mm-hmm. This is Second Esdras 16 and 21. It says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case."
Right. So victuals ultimately going to like supplies, goods, things that can be obtained in order to maintain some type of lifestyle, and one commodity or supply that was somewhat low is gas, but as we can see, it's starting to rise. Like it had the time where it was around like 476. We're gonna see those days come here shortly because they had the a couple months ago. You're not talking about it no more, but they had a thing in the Red Sea. You also got the wars with Israel and Iran. It's still things that's affecting the economy over here in America. Babylon the Great. So we're going to start to see victuals. It's going to be a shortage of victuals, and then also the inflation is going to hit these people heavy, and they're starting to feel the squeeze.
Yeah.
If I may add too, when you look up this definition of the word cheap in the free dictionary, the specific definition, sub definition 3, it says achieved with little effort, right? So all of these victuals, these resources, as the brother is speaking of, right, it's easily accessible, right? It's not like it's hard to come across these things, but as we're going to continue to see happen, right, these victuals, these resources is going to become harder and harder to access.
Right. I want to add to that too, because the average American Babylonian doesn't really see times as really being hard right now, because as Esau has made everything pretty much accessible right now, you have, business as usual with these different, stores. You're seeing the deals taking place. All right, you have, these restaurants and, fast food joints pretty much, having like the $4 for $4 menu bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
and even with you have it now with the whole thing with the rise of sports gambling. You got Jake, partaking in that, and Jake is, getting, parlays, is hitting, so they getting money with that. So that's blinded them to really seeing what's really going on, but not realizing that all that's about to come to an end real soon, man. All right,
Right.
so finish it out. It says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they should think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion."
All right, sword, famine, and great confusion. Especially after this, eclipse. You've had different individuals saying like they was ultimately persuaded to go off and off people after it happened, after it occurred. And it said sword, famine. All right, the shortage of victuals. It's been increased talks about famines. All right, over in Africa, over in all over the world. They said it's been articles that came out. For the last couple of years. It's going to be a heavy famine, which we are in a famine right now. They just kind of deceiving the masses because they'll take like they give you got to pay for a la carte. You got to pay for the fries. You got to pay for an entree. They give you a bigger carton. In order to mask the famine. There's great confusion because a lot of people they don't really know what's going on.
And also another form of that famine too is the food that we're eating is not real.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this shit is GMO. So the famine is already taking place, but when it's really going to hit is when there's a lack of resources, a lack of food in the grocery store, a lack of water, a lack of supply. That's when it's really going to hit, and these people are really going to see, like it's always, when it's about to be a storm, people go run up in the stores and buy up everything because the grocery stores only hold 3 days worth of food and supplies. So when this shit really touches down, we're going to see this affect, Babylon, man. And it's been, little things here and there that's been hitting. Like you had the whole thing up in what was that, Baltimore with the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
When that bridge got hit, it came out that was like a major port where they was using to bring supplies in, man. So just like the train, the train situation that was going on, I think last year, Esau has been doing things systematically to manufacture this famine. And Gates of Hell, he's buying up all the farmland. So it's just different things that shows you when this shit really hit. Like I said, it's going to be sword, famine, and great confusion, man. And these people are going to get Colorado all in that, man.
All right, because it's only.
That's right.
No, you got it.
I was just going to add that famine, as Priest was mentioning, the lack of resources. We see what's going on in Iran, between Iran and Israel, and that Strait of Hormuz is the primary oil distributor. So they say around 20% of the world's oil goes through those waters. So once access to that gets cut off, then the price of oil is going to go up. The price of food is going to go up, right? That's when the hyperinflation starts to come into effect. So even there might be actual food available, but the price is going to be so high that people aren't going to be able to afford it, man. So that it's going to be a de facto famine.
Can I get a couple for you?
Okay.
This is
what precepts you want to get one?
Could you get Revelation 6:6? I'm gonna get this. This is Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 16. It says, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Yarashalam, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment, that they may want bread and water and be astonished one with another and consume away for their iniquity," which this was going into back in those times in Jerusalem, you see, but it can also be applied to American Babylon the Great in various different parts of the world, because essentially it's going into the resources, the food, the water. It's not going to be readily accessible. How you can just go, or 2/3 they can go get a big Whopper, the Big Mac, and all that stuff. Go to Food Lion, Walmart, go grab food. It's actually going to be measured out by weight. They had this one thing, and I think it was Nigeria, but pretty much they had like a little card, and like you would swipe it, and it gave a certain amount of water for whatever you swiped it for, which essentially that's what's going to happen. It's going to be measured out, and whatever they see fit for any type of particular individual, no matter if you're bigger or you're smaller, that's what they're going to give you.
This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 6. It says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine."
I want to get this word for penny. And this word for penny, it goes into, it says denarion. It says containing 10 Roman silver coin and NT time. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses, a number after 217 BC increased to 16. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it was seen that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. So pretty much they had it was like a Big Mac combo. It was like $20, $18. And it was also another article saying they was just gonna start marking up the price. So essentially, probably like the average wages now is like 120. So just picture that, and paying that for some food. It's not going to be maintainable. People are not going to be able to live like that. So the masses of the people are going to be very angry. Leading into that that great confusion. They're gonna want answers.
Right. That's why they have those sleeper cell UN troops, right, coming across the border, because they understand the minds of the American people. As soon as there's a semblance of inconvenience, right, they're gonna rush these places, man. So they're gonna need someone to keep law and order, and the police officers aren't gonna do that, man, right, because they still have it in their hearts to protect the people. But these men who come from overseas are they're set up, to go in and to what's the word, to stabilize things, for lack of better terms, man.
Right.
Yeah, and it's no coincidence that all these migrants that's coming over here, Esau is hitting them up with all these different, payments. So when supplies are getting low, they're going to be more inclined to go get up all the food and shit like that. So that's going to cause a divide amongst the people, which is going to cause that internal strife in America as well. That's why through
Exactly.
the spirit they dropped that Civil War movie this past weekend, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of touches on that from what I've been hearing from different brothers talking about it.
Uh,
We touched on the article Baba Kushaf Bros that have nothing else.
okay. This is
Did we
from
finish out
CN.
that
Oh,
second interest?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the end of that verse, which you wanted to keep going.
I mean, yeah, we can keep going in on that. It's a little bit more.
Second Ezra 16:22. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy,
Hmm.
and the
Right.
dead." Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to add. So as we discussed with all of these things that are being set up, right? Famine is on the way, right? Famine is prophesied to take place. Okay. And if you are able to escape the famine, the sword is going to be there to destroy you, man. Death and judgment is going to reign in the streets of Babylon, the great America. And that ultimate sword is going to be what? The thermonuclear destruction.
right.
Uh,
Hey, if I may add too, people they see the war tensions brewing over there, right, in Iran and Israel, and they're, the speaking of the draft coming up, man, right? People talking about they're not going to go over there and lose their lives for in this war, not understanding that the war is going to set foot, on American soil as well, man. Right, so that sword is unavoidable, you know. So, like the scripture says, if you don't die from the famine, then you're gonna get put to death by whatever manner of troops is out here, man, right? Or whatever the Lord has set forth.
Con. Keep going.
Oh, yeah, you can go on. It's fine.
"And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the sword, well, it's like for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down.
Hmm.
There shall
Right. So,
no,
what's it like? You go ahead.
mm, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice."
Right. So it's gonna be complete anarchy out here, man. All right. Dead bodies just lying in the streets. Okay. And this is what we're trying to tell our people to prepare for.
Right.
Right. As we have went into the lesson last week about proper preparations for doomsday, because a lot of our people, they see the times that we're in, right? But they're not truly moving accordingly, right? Because as I said, as the brother had read through verse 24 through 27, right? There's not going to be any work out here, man. All right. The minds of people are going to be completely focused on trying to live, right? Nobody's going to be concerned with trying to, work in the society because it's going to be continuous judgment just being rained out.
Facts. Because as Scripture was saying, man, it's gonna be so bad out here. Like all these apocalyptic movies that you watch, post nuclear destruction, the just the end of the world type shit. We're gonna see society go that direction. The I Am Legend movies, The Road. Shit, even this new show that's on Amazon Prime, Fallout. I was watching the first episode before we got on here, and it goes to show you, the mentality of the people when shit gets bad compared to how it is now. It's going to be a total culture shock, and these people aren't prepared for that, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why the spirit of Yahweh Shemal Shah is on us, to touch on these topics so that we can mentally prepare as well as spiritually prepare, even physically, to your best ability. But we know at the end of the day we need Yahweh Shemal Shah to get us through all this, man.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Go on.
You want that article you want?
Kind of, we touch on that, and then we get a little bit of that one, and then I also want to touch on because I believe we touched on briefly about like the wars. So I wanted to get the article going into how they pretty much calling retirees back because they're gonna have to bring the draft and stuff like that. You know.
Okay.
All right, so this is CNN Business, and it reads: Retirement crisis looms as Americans struggle to save. Eric Payne, a 37-year-old single father of two boys, works hard to stretch out his paycheck each week. It's a task he refers to as clicking. He makes a good salary in the $80,000 range, but by the time all the essential expenses have been clicked into place, there's not much left to spare. The clicking is for day-to-day operations, explained Payne, who works as the director of quality assurance for a seafood wholesaler. Groceries, car payment, mortgage, kids' clothes, childcare, or figuring out how to cover an unexpected bill. My financial focus has to be on the present as every dollar counts, he told CNN. However, I am fully aware that I am creating another problem for myself down the road.
Could we could we get can we start Isaiah 47 verse 1 and then we go down to verse 8 because it had mentioned a point that he said he make $80,000. You know, a lot of Babylonians, so-called Americans. You know, well, it's some that make that type of money, but they pretty much they take on the spirit of the rulers. You know, and essentially it's like a life of over indulgence. They're not really satiable. They can't be satisfied. So, I just want to touch on that. If we can get Isaiah 47.
Okay, I got it. It's Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans,
Right, and
for thou shalt.
so it says, "Come down and sit in the dust of a virgin daughter of Babylon." You know, so the ones that run Babylon, they're feeling them. You see, but then also the ones that's inside the country is feeling it as well. You know, because the masses of the people they in debt, but then also as a country, you know, essentially Babylon is in debt too to the elites. You know, so the Lord is pretty much strategically taking down Babylon, and everybody's inside Babylon. You know.
That's right.
Right.
For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind mill.
So I want to touch on that part too. It said, "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate," you know, because for so long, foreigners or people that's not from America, they would be like, "Oh, well, that's the place to be," you know, or they want to get a decent paying job, live the American dream. But it's no longer like that. You know, those that have family in these other countries, they like, yeah, like fuck that, they going to wherever they from. You know.
Mhm.
Take the millstones and grind mill. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Right, because this place is being exposed. You know, they had like with the debt clock. You know, I think it's in somewhere in the trillions. You know, but it's going to keep rising. You know, to where everything we see and taking place, the famine. You know, the this country is in debt, but then also being that they're in debt. You know, like if you can't pay off your debt, you gotta eventually go to war, and that's essentially where America's headed to war. You know.
Yep.
Yep.
The current national debt is at $34.6 trillion,
Mm-hmm.
and America is now adding $1 trillion every 100 days. So this place is just it's done, man.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may add, somebody brought this to my attention the other day. $1 trillion. If you took every single thing on America's soil, right, from every building, every piece of timber, every piece of steel, right, that will all amount to $1 trillion, right? So anything you see out here, that's $1 trillion worth of things. And as the brother may mention, we're hundreds of trillions of dollars in debt. So it's an impossible amount of money to pay back to anyone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why the war has to take place. That's why the economic system has to be completely uprooted and refashioned. That's why we see the digital currency start to pick up steam, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're born into this country in millions of dollars of debt. So, as a baby being first brought into the world, you're already in debt to this damn society. and then as you grow older, and Esau, begins to, use the world to pretty much pull you in, you just further, put yourself in that hole. So there's no way out of this but through Yahweh Hashem Yahushua at the end of the day, man.
That's right.
Con.
That's right. Verse 4. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
And which, if I can mention too, like the brother Amawan pretty much stated, the Lord is the savior of the nation, because the 1/3 they're gonna make it on this side, but 2/3 they pretty much still holding fast to Esau's way of life. I presume the dude inside the article was the Edomite, and he essentially he can't survive off of $80,000. That pretty much shows that he's not budgeting. Essentially Jake holds fast to not budgeting. Living a lifestyle off of credit. That's essentially what Jake learned in America, Babylon the Great.
Right. And even in that, what we're seeing is Esau dissolving the middle class, right? Mm-hmm. So there's only, the upper elites, and then everyone else is in that lower class tier, man. Because you can no longer strive, for that higher echelon. People are all fighting for the crumbs at the bottom now.
That's right. If I may add to that point, as the brother has said, that average individual needs, this is a report from Kiplinger. It says the average individual needs $96,500 on average to live comfortably in a major U.S. city. And that's really not even the average amount. That's not the correct amount. Really, you should be making 6 figures to live, quote unquote, comfortably, be able to travel, do all types of different things. How this devil has tried to annihilate the middle class.
But that's just that's the byproduct of America, because honestly, especially as us being Israelites, we are supposed to live a minimalistic lifestyle, man. All right, trying to keep up with the Joneses and live extravagantly. We're slaves, man, and only it's only Jake that's trying to live like a king in slavery, man. But the scriptures even tell you this, man. I'm gonna get this real quick. This is Sirach chapter 18, verse 30, and the GNT. The point's at 32, but 30 is good. It says, "Don't be controlled by your lust, and keep your passions in check. If you allow yourself to satisfy your every desire, you will be a joke to your enemies." And that's what our people do, man. They overindulge in everything that Babylon has to offer, knowing damn well they can't keep up that lifestyle, which is what causes them to go even further in sin, because they want to keep up this fake ass facade, man. All right. The point. Don't indulge in luxurious living. The expense of it will ruin you, and that's the majority of the people out here, man, trying to live in this luxurious lifestyle, really for social media, and it's ruining them, man. Because like your mom said, man, that amount of money that Edomite or whoever wrote that article, is saying, and half the stuff you're seeing with these different videos, these people complaining, you making $50-$60 an hour complaining about how life is life is too hard. If you just get the bare minimum, you'll be good. But these people want to live it up, man. You ain't got a vacation every fucking month, man. You ain't got to go buy like little shit. You ain't got to eat meat every day, man. You don't got to do everything that Babylon pushes. But these people have been raised up to think that they got to just splurge every single moment, man, instead of just being thankful for the Lord giving them their daily bread, which is why, once again, these Americans are going to suffer when all this shit takes place, because like we make the joke, when we deal with the homeless niggas at camp, only here in America where you have proud homeless niggas, man. Here it is, brothers then gave certain homeless niggas food, and they were ungrateful because they wanted some high dollar food instead of just taking what was given to them, blocking their blessing because they were high minded, man. And that's the problem with Americans altogether, man, especially our people, man. Okay. So this is why at the end of the day, when the Lord crashes this society, it's going to be a giant culture shock for the good majority of our people, because these niggas don't trust in the Lord to get their daily bread. All right. Y'all got it.
Right. Just to add to you, priest, real quick, it's Proverbs 23:3. Well, I'll start in 2. It reads, I'll start in 1. It's a lot. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Right? And this American lifestyle is a deceitful meat, man. Right? You take part in this, right, without the understanding that down the road you're destroying yourself, man. Right? Down the
Facts.
road you're just opening yourself up, to be taken in all manners of judgments, man. You know?
Can you go down to 5?
God. It reads, labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom.
Right, and a lot of Jakes, they essentially see the heathen, and they pretty much they want to be like the heathen, so they
Mhm.
essentially try to live this lifestyle like that they can't maintain, which they shouldn't maintain because what's most important is this truth. Uh, you keep going to 5, Sean.
Yeah,
God.
because I wanted to make a point on what you said too, because hey, the heathen that come over here and live it up, they're given diplomatic immunity. They're given
Mhm.
these business loans without any credit. They're able to thrive because Esau and the heathen understand that we're in captivity over here, man, and so they profit off of us, in our ignorance. And so you see Jake that's trying to get up in that society, or not in the society, in that status, like they got to sell out, you know, which is
Mhm.
why you see a lot of these niggas like Diddy getting exposed because what they had to do to get up in that type of lifestyle, man.
Hmm.
God. Proverbs 23 and 5. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven.
Right, so essentially, you got so-called celebrities. They pretty much entrust into their status and their money that they have gotten in America, Babylon the Great. But when this system collapses or when they switch over to that digital, they're gonna be hurt. You know,
Mhm.
they pretty much gonna be hurt with the lifestyle that they was living. Because they essentially they gonna have to make a decision. To either take that charagma, or just struggle. But it's pretty much the point. Jake just sets his mind on the riches, and the lifestyle of the heathen.
God.
Mhm.
I'm going to read down to 7, if I may. Verse 6. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. Right, so his brothers is going into, right? You don't take part, right? You don't take the goods of this devil, man. Right? You don't sign the contract, right? All of these things, as it says, this man has an evil eye towards you, right? So he's already this devising mischievous plans, right? He's not just giving you this opportunity for your betterment, man. Right? That's why the scriptures tell us if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, man. Right? Anybody who has any exorbitant amount of money had to give away a piece of themselves in order to receive that, man.
Right.
Verse 7, it says, "For he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." So all you see these jakes out here making all this money, man, right? They have access to all these riches, right? But they don't understand that this man is doing it in order for you to destroy yourself, man, or for you to influence others to destroy themselves, to bring them into this lifestyle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Con. Um, we could drop Isaiah 47. Um, can we get that Air Force article?
Khan
Uh,
Baba Kushar, it's a little bit more in that article.
Okay.
okay,
If you
let me
scroll
jump down.
down to
Con.
the retirement saving cliff.
Okay, so jumping down, it reads the retirement savings cliff. The number of U.S.
Salakia,
workers. Okay,
Salakia, actually jump down. What's that? 3 paragraphs. This would be the 4th paragraph where it talks about Social Security payments.
okay. It says here Social Security payments still provide about 90% of income for more than a quarter of older adults, according to the Social Security Agency surveys. But the Social Security Trust Fund is facing a 75-year deficit, and without intervention, it will be depleted by the mid 2030s, meaning that only a portion of retirees' expected benefits will be paid out.
Right.
Lawmakers have faced a decade-long political stalemate on how to fix it.
Right. So that American dream right there is telling you that shit is a farce, man.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is that you've been encouraged. Oh, you want to go ahead and put your money towards Social Security. Really, it just comes out automatically, right? But here it is. You've been in the Social Security has been in a 75-year deficit, and it's about to get ran out by 2030, right?
Mhm.
So who puts the future generations into consideration, right? This is a sign to show you that there is no healing of Babylon, which I'm holding on Nahum 3 and 19 right here. But let's actually read a little bit more in there.
Con, I wanted to get
Okay.
this real quick off of what you said.
I get
Con,
priest about the priest.
Con,
con.
'cause this is a it's a big ass snare that Esau, has us in. And our people think that they're doing themselves good by, putting money away for things such as Social Security, the 401k and all that. But Esau he has his hands in all that anyways, and plus none of that shit's gonna mean anything when this all falls anyway. So real quick, James 5:4, it says, "Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth." Because as we know, we are the laborers that have pretty much, built up Esau's country. All right, so here it is, Jake. Get up, work 8 to 10, 12-hour shifts. All right, 40 hours a week, some 60, 80, however long, and Esau is taking, the money from them before they even get to it. Before they even get to it, and then have the nerve to sit there and tell you, well, you need to, put money away for life insurance, Social Security, all these different things, when he's already, taking that shit from you, even with your taxes, man. You get, the income tax, every year, but before you even see that, he already is. This is money that he takes out every paycheck, and he takes more out before he gives you the return, man. So this was said. This whole thing is a big ass farce, man. All right. So once again, behold, the hires of laborers who have reaped down your field, which is of you kept back by fraud, because this whole thing is robbery. All right. Because at the end of the day, when we work, we're supposed to be getting paid by sundown, anyways, man.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is about robbery to us, man. It says, "Crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth." Oh, so the Lord is hearing us crying out, all right, for deliverance out of this man's corrupt, wicked system, man. You got it.
God, let me get this real fast. This is Sean Watt, Exodus chapter 7 and verse 1. It says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Yashar'Allah out of his land, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt." And it's essentially what's going on right now. The Lord is multiplying the signs in Egypt. This is Egypt 2.0, because like the brother Tazwan said, it's a sign, because it's a lot of people in America that ultimately confide, or they getting what was it, Social Security. And then what about the other benefits? You got you got the veterans benefits, you got Social Security, you got like the 401k. What about when all those things collapse? So that's just the Lord, touching Egypt again. I'm gonna keep going. It says,
If
Yeah,
I may add, so you go, priest.
no, I was gonna say, because don't they keep pushing the age of retirement back?
mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you had one devil say that shit. It shouldn't even be a retirement age. People just work till they die. In so many words, man. So this is bullshit, man. What you got, bro?
That's crazy.
I'm
God.
gonna finish.
I was just gonna add to you just real quick.
You go ahead.
Just understanding that Social Security is depleting, which it means that all government benefits are depleted, right?
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
EBT, right? All the Section 8, all that money
Yep.
is leaving, right? SNAP is leaving, right? Everything you see, these government aid programs, this is all being affected, man, right? So they hide it under the guise of Social Security, 401ks, but it's all financial benefit plans that are out here that are about to be hit, man.
Right. I'm gonna finish it out. Exodus 7 and 4. "But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth mine armies and my people, the children of Yashar'Allah, out of the land of Egypt by great judgment." So great judgment is ultimately going into, the scriptures say the Lord is known by his judgment. So, all right, it was it's been like 4 bridge collapses. All right, it's a famine. You know, it's constant things happening every day. You know, the benefits is being touched. You know, so pretty much what these people confide in. I'm gonna get something real quick. This is it's Isaiah 19:1. It says, "The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it." You know, so Egypt had like back in those times, like I'm just throwing out a number like 1,000 different idols. You know, so same thing today. You know, so these so-called Americans have like thousands of different idols. You know, they entrust into celebrities, money, whatever it is. You know, so the Lord essentially is touching these idols. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did you
And
want more on
something
that
right
other
quick.
one? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. We'll read into Larry Fink as well because he kind of touches on that a little bit more.
Okay.
This is Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 9. It says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment." Speaking of 2/3 of the nation of Israel, right? During the time of Jacob's trouble, right? Here it is. You've cast yourself into all of these various different doctrines and philosophies as your strength and your covering, right? As the brother Yuam had just read Isaiah 19, right? The Lord is moving these idols out of the way, right? And people are still cemented in these practices, still cemented and carrying on in those fashions and those customs instead of turning back to Yahweh Shem Shai. Verse 10, the point. For such as in their lives have received benefits, right? These government subsidies, right? These various trinkets that they've used to get an advantage in society, right? They've taken in those benefits, right? It says, and have not known me. See, you didn't know Yahweh Shem Shai. And that's the most important thing as an Israelite is to know your power, right? And understand the fear of the Lord, because as it tells us in Isaiah 33:6, what wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, strength of salvation, the fear of Yahweh Shem Shai is his treasure. Okay. So when all of these riches go out the door, as we're seeing the social security is out the window, what's gonna really be your money at that time?
That's right.
We keep reading in on that.
Okay. Jumping back to the article, the retirement crisis looms as Americans struggle to save. It reads, "What is left is the 401k, which 60% or 68% of private industry workers have access to, but only 50% use."
Right.
It
Because a
says
lot of people
BlackRock.
they know that
Yeah.
shit bullshit. A lot of people know that it's bullshit. They ain't fucking with that no more.
All right.
You know? If
Because you
anything,
can only
people
touch. Oh,
oh no,
slide.
go ahead.
I was just gonna add, you can only touch half of the money that they they offer you, right? And whatever you do touch comes with high tax penalties, man. So
Right,
it's
right.
pretty much incentivized for you to leave it in there untouched. But most people never reach the end to be able to have access to that money, man.
Right. And now you're having reports coming out now where people are having to touch that money early because of how
Mm-hmm.
hard the times are right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a brother had made mention of, priest had made mention of, these people, they live for social media. They try to portray an image, but that's not the case. A lot of these fucking people out here are struggling.
Yeah,
Right.
and I add it to you as well, because dealing with the retirement, a lot of these people that are retiring, they can't even really enjoy their retirement because they got to do something to bring in money, because the money that they're given isn't enough to still be able to live. Because they
Right.
still got they still got to pay a mortgage, they still got to pay different utility bills, and still provide gas and food for themselves. So they got to get like a part-time job while they're retired, man. And you see that a lot in these jobs, man. Jake,
Mhm.
that's old as shit. They didn't live their life and work, having a damn go to these different factory warehouse jobs, go to fast food joints, just do something, to make a little money on the side so they'll be able to live comfortably, man. That's not how the
Right.
society's supposed to be, you know. If you work, pretty much your whole life, and you up in age, you earn the right to be able to sit back and kick your feet up, man. Yeah, you didn't work your whole life, so that shows you that this shit is fucked up, man.
Yep.
Yep. Continuing on, it reads, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink warned in his annual investor letter last week that unless corporate leaders and politicians undertake an organized, high level effort to rethink retirement in the US, they risk alienating younger generations from capitalism and politics.
Right, because this alienation that's taking place is a direct cause of the rulership. Okay, the rulership of how these people have decided to pass out legislation and pass out rules and regulations has failed. Okay, and we're now starting to see these things unravel before our very eyes through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, because it's not profitable. Okay, and a lot of these younger generations are now starting to realize that too, as we had discussed for the past couple of weeks, how Gen Z, right, this next up and coming generation, they're already alienating themselves from the idea of procreation.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, man, we don't even want to bother with that because they
Mhm.
see the way how the world is carried, man.
Mhm.
Shit, I don't even want to work.
Nope.
No,
Nope. Cause look, COVID was like a major, disruptor in common sense, man. Because when you look at how these especially this young generation was looking at things, why should I work when I can get unemployment? And that was back when they was getting the stimmies too, and make as much as you make as a working. That's why you had the great resignation that was going on during that time, where everybody was just quitting their job or intentionally getting fired so they can collect unemployment. And that mentality has carried over until today, to where, like you said, nobody wants to work anymore, man. And then you have the entitled people that think that minimum wage should be more than what it is now. So not realizing that if they were to up minimum wage, they would have to then in turn fixate the cost of living to make that sustainable. And a lot of these companies can't afford to up their minimum wage, so it's a big clusterfuck, man. But this is all showing you how Babylon was all built, to pretty much fall itself. I got a quick one.
Yeah.
You gonna say something?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I get it after you done.
kind. This is Ezekiel 13:10. It says, because they have seduced my people, saying peace, and there was no peace, and one built up a wall, and lo, others dabbed it with untempted mortar. And that's what Esau has done with America to make Jake think that this place is their rest, man. You know, painted it with all these different lies and the hopes that you just put your nose to the grindstone and just work, that you can live the life that you want, not realizing all the wicked shit you gotta do behind closed doors, man. All right, and then on top of that, the infrastructure that was built upon this was meant to implode on itself, like we've been going into, man. None of this shit was able to last long, man. All right, as you're seeing everything falling through now. It says, "Say unto them which dab it with untempted mortar, that is, it shall fall. There shall be an overflowing shower, and yea, O great hailstones shall fall, and a stormy wind shall rend it." Because we know that a major culture shift is about to happen in America, where Esau is going to destroy this current economy, this current way of life, and bring in a new way of life, which is centered around that CBDC, which is eventually going to lead to the MOTB. All right.
Mhm.
So it
And
says,
can I ask
"Lo,
you real quick, Chris?
go ahead."
That's the irony of Larry Fink saying what he's saying right now, right? Is because he knows where the economy is going, but he's speaking as if there's some way to fix it. This is the same
Mhm.
guy who just sold $100 million worth of shares, of the company that owns everything, man. Right? So what does he see happening to make him want to get out? Right? He's abandoning ship right now, right? But he's trying to
Exactly.
convince you that we need to take all these steps in order to try to save this economy, man.
That's why I said in verse 10. I said that they're talking about peace, but there is no peace, man. Because he's one of those the keepers of the how's it go in
keeper of the
Ecclesiastes 12?
house.
Yeah, he's one of the
Mm-hmm.
keepers of the house that's giving you this false outlook. But we all know he's an insider. Hey, BlackRock is one of the companies that owns the majority of everything, anyways, man. BlackRock.
Mhm.
What's the other one? Uh,
Vanguard.
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 These niggas are they literally buying up everything. So you tell me they don't know what's going on? They are a controlled opposition through the elites all right, to pretty much bottleneck the American people to where all your goods are gonna have to be bought from the elites, man. So this nigga is just saying this shit just to quell the words of the masses, man. All right. So continuing on, verse 13, it says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I will." Verse 14, it says, "So I will break down the wall that ye have dabbed with uptempted mortar, and bring it down to the ground, so that the foundation thereof shall be discovered, and it shall fall, and ye shall be consumed in the midst thereof, and ye shall know that I am the Lord." And that's what's taking place now. Yahweh Shem Shah is breaking down, all these false coverings that our people has used to trust in the system, man. Which is like we're going into the government assistance, this money, the economy, everything about America is being crumbled to show you that Yahweh Shemal Shah is letting us know that this is not our rest and that he's going to be our comfort, man. Okay?
That's right.
And anybody that refuses to accept that fact is going to be caught up out here, man.
Yep.
Right. You have some more the article I touched on?
Yeah, there's some more you want, but if you say you had a precept, right?
I'm gonna go back to it. It's
Okay,
it was Isaiah 19 and 15, but I want to read from verse 1. But we can go back to the article and I get this afterwards.
Okay, Con. Yeah, it's one more paragraph in here.
Continuing on, it reads, "It's no wonder younger generations, millennials and Gen Z, are so economically anxious," he wrote. "They believe my generation, the baby boomers, have focused on their own financial well-being to the detriment of who comes next. And in the case of retirement, they're right."
Mm-hmm. Right. So he's pretty much telling you, look, you people that come after us, you have no hope. Right.
Right.
And if he's saying this to his own people, how much more you Israelites? Right. Now, I had two precepts, if I may.
Hey, before you get there, I wanted to read that definition for anxiety to add to what you just said.
Con.
It says anxiety in the Edamon Online. It says greatly troubled by uncertainties, and that's exactly what you just said. Because these Gen Zers, they see that the horizon doesn't look good for them, man. You got it.
Yep. Right. It's no future here. Sirach chapter 14 and verse 5, it says, "He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his own goods." And this is exactly what this devil is doing, man. He's not even setting up his own futures, his future generations to be able to sustain themselves. That's why you read in Matthew 24 and 22, right? It makes the point of the days being shortened for the elect's sake, lest no flesh will be saved. Nobody would be here if this nigga Esau was able to continue on generation after generation and to see the rulership, man.
Right.
And he's indirectly showing that based off of what Larry Fink has stated in that article, right? The fact that it's gotten to this point shows that the generation before did not move accordingly. They weren't operating properly as rulership, and these people are technically, they're still the ones that are ruling. Right?
And that's why scriptures say they haven't considered the latter end, man.
Exactly.
They haven't considered their end in prophecy's sake, but they haven't even considered their end, right, according to this economics, man. Right? They've made moves, right, without thinking into the future generations, right? Which that's the trait of Esau, man. Right? He made a decision without considering his future generations' prosperity, man.
Hey,
I get that for
all the
you.
way back to regular to Esau, man. Like you said, this nigga, he gave away the birthright to satisfy himself there, but that's always been Esau's characteristic. This nigga is a short-term thinker, man. He's worried about instant gratification.
Right.
Yep.
I got a precept for you. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6. It says, verse 5, it says, "Yet also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is his death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay."
Salaki, who's gonna speak on that? I can speak on that. Reread verse 5 again. Baba Kusha.
Con. Habakkuk 2:5 it says, "Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he
Right?
is a
How
proud."
is this devil sidestepping? Right, pushing out these doctrines and philosophies. That's how he's transgressing throughout the world, man. Right, putting the bottle to the mouth of these various different nations. Right, indoctrinating you into his practices forcefully.
Mm-hmm.
You keep reading.
He is a proud man, neither keep at home, who enlarge his desire as hell, and is as death and cannot be satisfied.
Right, as death and cannot be satisfied, man. This devil, he has an unsatiable appetite, man, to just bring about death and chaos to the world. And that's how we know who this devil is through the spirit, man.
That's right.
This man is Esau Edom, okay? Because his attributes and his characteristics align with the self-proclaimed white race of today. All right. Revelations, the 6th chapter, speaks of what? That red horse, right? And that red horse is symbolic of Esau. And it says what? He was given a sword to take peace from the earth. And that's everything this devil has done. Right? It said that he is a proud man that neither keepeth at home. Esau, through his various tactics of imperialism, his economic hitmen, he's tried to establish his kingdom throughout the entire world. But it wasn't done in righteousness. It was done in wickedness, man.
Yep.
Keep reading.
It says, "But gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay."
Right. How long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? This heavy debt when you go into thick clay. Right. Let's actually just pull up the for edification's sake.
You want me to get the word?
Con.
That word for thick clay, it says, Ibatyat. It says weight of pledges, heavy debts. It says something pledged. It says pawned goods, load of debt.
Right. Those FRNs, the IOUs, right? That thick clay is continually mounting on the people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where now you look at everything that's going on, it's like, damn, everyone can see that this is the end. As far as this system of the US dollar having supremacy on the earth. Okay. And ultimately, as the prophets of the Lord, right, we see what's on the horizon, the establishment of them implementing the MOTB, right? Which when you read in Revelations 13 and 16 is the implantable device that's being discussed at these summit meetings and being promoted by your leaders in Esau Edom's hegemony, man.
Right. So I want to add to you too, because that's one thing that these Americans aren't realizing of what's taking place as you're talking about that thick clay, is that the correlation between the prices of everything getting higher and everything's getting more expensive is because the dollar is losing its value. So the more and more the dollar loses its value, the more expensive everything becomes, because the dollar isn't worth as much as it used to be. So people are sitting here wondering, like, yo, why is the cost of living going up? Why is everything becoming more expensive? Because your dollar is getting weaker, man. And Esau is purposely doing that because he wants it to crash out. So like you said, he can bring in that digital currency, which is going to lead to the MOTB, man. So it's all a systematic sabotage at the end of the day, man.
Yep.
Right.
I had another precept, if I may.
Okay.
This is pardon me. Nahum 3:19. It says, "There is no healing of thy bruise.
Nope.
Thy wound is grievous." Okay. So there's no healing of Babylon the Great America, man. The direction in which they've walked for generations, as Larry Fink has said, is causing economic anxiety, right? Because what people are trying to do is stay in a mindset of being, what's the word that I'm looking for? They want to stay in a daze. They want to stay in la la land, so to speak.
Trying to be comfortable.
Right, to be comfortable, right? But as the scriptures tell us, matter of fact, let me grab it right quick. Bear with me one moment.
Yeah, Jake trying to stay above water.
Right.
It ain't working.
Jake out there with no floaty. Niggas can't swim.
Right.
In the deep end.
In the deep end. Screaming a lot, lifeguard off duty and shit.
Nigga taking a night swim.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. A brother can speak on this if they want to. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Khan said, you run it back, Uncle Shaw?
Khan, Salakia. There, give me 1 moment. Turn the page. 1 Thessalonians. Salakia. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3, it says, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Right. And pretty much what America pushes is that something may happen, you know, and then they push out, all right, well, they do like damage control to pretty much rock the people back to sleep, you know, so to where they're comfortable. So that's that peace and safety, you know, but pretty much the American people confiding in that peace and safety, you know, they're going to pretty much reach sudden destruction. I'm going to get a precept real fast. This is Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 32. It says, verse 31, it says, Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. So that word prosperity is shawwa, all right, and pretty much it goes into either a true sense of security or a false sense of security, you know. So which they pretty much are trusting in a false sense of security, you know. So they're going to entrust in that, going back to that Ezekiel chapter 13, like the brother Amawan had got. But they're going to entrust in that false sense of security and be in for a rude awakening. You know, they're going to be destroyed, you know.
Yep. I'm going to jump back to that Nahum 3:19 and finish that out. It says, Nahum 3:19, There is no healing of thy bruise, thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap the hands over thee. For upon whom hath not thy wickedness passed continually, man? So this is judgment. Okay? All of the wickedness and abominations that have been done in Babylon the Great, this is judgment that's being poured out. Right? Because this land has done what? It's done nothing but rape, rob, and murder from the earth and the inhabitants, to the very point to where the earth, as the scriptures tell us in the book of Romans, the whole creation groaneth. Right? This world has rejected the Edomites. And this way of how this economy has gone, the way of how this system has gone, it can't keep going.
Right.
Yep. It's designed to fail. Like we've been talking about the whole lesson, man. Because it's the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for this place to be destroyed. So the Lord has had all these things go this direction for that very purpose.
God. Yep. I'm gonna get Isaiah 19:5 to 15, and that'll be it, bros. And have none.
God.
Could a brother get Isaiah 19:5, Uncle Shaw?
God, I got you. So Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 5. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither and be driven away, and be no more.
And pretty much, you know, what did the Egyptians confide in? What was their strength in that particular economy? You know, they really relied on the Nile River. That was a major source of like money, their economy. You know, because they had the fishers. You know, they pretty much just had like a lot of business on the Nile River. You know, so essentially, that represents how the Lord pretty much touched their economy. You know, because even with the Nile River, and then also when we had left Egypt, you know, pretty much we was a source of like
labor.
Yeah, labor. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can liken that to it's a lot.
I was gonna say we built up Egypt just like we built up every other captivity we was in, and when the Lord removed us, that kingdom fell.
Right.
Exactly. God. I was gonna add, you can liken that to various streams of income. You know, America's has its foot in you know every industry in the world, right? But we're seeing it slowly and surely these things get dried up, as the scriptures tell us, man. right? So there's no more life coming from that, right? And the only thing left is the money they get from going to war, right? That's why we see the war talks continually amping up, man, because that's where they make their chiefly make their finances now.
That's right.
Right.
But continuing on, it says the fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament. They that spread nets upon the waters shall languish.
Pretty much going into the economy because again they had it was like a lot of fish, that was fresh water, so they had like they made like a lot of money off that particular portion of land or the river, and the same thing with America, Babylon the Great, they entrust into the entertainment, but the scriptures say that pretty much the mirth of the land is gone, so that's one form of how the economy is being touched as well, sports not like how they used to be,
Everything dried up.
And exactly. Verse 10. And they shall be broken. So I get verse 9. Moreover, they that work in fine flax and they that weave networks shall be confounded. And they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that makes sluices and ponds for fish. Surely the
pretty
princes
much
of
going
Zoan are
into
full.
again to reiterate, we had got Nahum chapter 3 and verse 19. That bruise, it can't be healed. And going into not Ezekiel, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, goes into how they don't see any hope, because this lifestyle that they pretty much had made, it's not, you can't maintain it. That's why the scriptures say that if it was to continue on, no flesh will be saved, because this rat race is not sustainable,
Right.
Exactly.
Verse 11. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings?
Because and even back then, all these different heathenish rulerships, they entrusted into their witchcraft, so those left hand spirits, they no longer giving them that so-called wisdom they once was using, because they double agents, and this is the time to where the Lord's taking down America, Babylon the Great, just like he did with Egypt back in that time, and then how he's doing with Egypt 2.0 America.
Yeah.
Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of hosts has proposed upon Egypt.
Mhm.
The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even that even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof.
I'm gonna get this in the NLT. It says the officials of Zoan are fools, and the officials of Memphis are deluded. The leaders of Egypt, so like the leaders of the people, have led Egypt astray, and essentially, the leaders of America, Babylon the Great, have led the masses astray. But then also 2/3 of Jake, because they pretty much subscribing to their lifestyle, and that's not what Jake was made to do. Because like we got in Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13, Jake was made to serve the Lord, and that's not what Jake is doing in America, But ultimately, they understand that Jake is who keeps his society going, So, which they'll be rewarded for that,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
Right. It's a very perverse spirit. When you go into this word perverse, it says, I'm gonna get it. It says, I am, and it says distorted, perverting, warping. All right. So pretty much going off that straight path, because when you look at America from its inception, it was still going off, but it's still somewhat held, I guess we want to call it held to certain traditions, but now it's like way, off path, and it was destined that way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I could mention too, anytime we see a civilization falling, it always goes into that weird shit. You start to see an increase of moles. You start to see an increase of just decadence. Yeah, I'm about to say immorality, if that's a word.
It's the same thing,
Yep.
but yeah,
Yeah.
the term is decadence. You know, because
Mhm.
like you said, that the immorality is at an all time high. You know, there's no, you know, righteousness pretty much being pushed. That's why you have things such as like dandyism take place. You know, where the morals are flipped. You know, so this is all
Right.
signs that show that this is the end, and this is history always repeats itself. For those that don't know that, look it up. It's always the same thing.
Con.
Yeah, because if I may add, when you go into that word for perverse, it pretty much speaks on willfully going against what is right, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as pride starts to bubble up and build up in each of these societies, we see increased lewdness. And you read in Tobit, it talks about how lewdness leads to great want, man, and famine,
Mm,
right? So when these lewd acts take place, we see that people are lacking, man, right,
right.
evermore.
That's why scriptures say folly is set in great dignity and the rich set in low place. Because when you look
Yep.
up that word folly, it goes back to wickedness, you know, lewdness, all that. So that's what's upheld. So that lets you know the state that society is, you know, in and where it's going.
Exactly. Exactly.
Con.
Continuing on, Isaiah 19 and 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do.
Right, and pretty much going into this economy, it's nothing that they can do in order to revamp, you know, America, Babylon, the Great's economy. And then also, you know, there's nothing that they can do to bring back the old days. You know, they can't bring back what once was. They can't make America great again. You know, trying to bring in, you know, DJ Trump or you know whoever back into office or whatever they're gonna do, it's not gonna do anything because it's already been prophesied from the beginning. This place was gonna fall. You know.
hmm
Right.
And in the NLT it says, there is nothing Egypt can do, all are helpless. You know, so it's as the brother said, man, there's no escape. You know, it's the prophecies are gonna, surround this place, man. Right, like scriptures tell you, right? They're gonna be attacked on all sides, right? So every facet of life is gonna be have Yahweh Shemel Shah's influence in it, man. Right, and His judgment is gonna take place in all facets.
Yep.
Okay. Bros, had anything else?
Wow.
Uh,
Hey, well, I don't want to Zaza Banaya Paulos, that was a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wow, I don't want to Zaza Tham Yash Lai La Tawabe. Lord's will you all have a good night. We go ahead and close it out by saying, Call Halayim La, Yahweh
Yahweh
Bahasham,
Bashem
Shah,
Yahweh
Bahasham,
Hashem
Shah.
Hamadash.
A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and rule well. And much respect to you, bros, out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom, shalom,
Shalom.
lakam. Peace
Shalom.
unto you all. Shalom.
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 Shalom.